The Assassin. You know I break necks, call me Jack Tate. I have no regrets while your life is fading. I'm a crazy fuck equivalent to Satan. When I'm behind the mic, I feel like the greatest. You know I break necks, call me Jack Tate. I have no regrets while your life is fading. I'm a crazy fuck equivalent to Satan. When I'm behind the mic, I feel like the greatest.
What up, y'all? You're listening to Sports Talk with Tropp, and I'm your host, Katie Tropp. Well, it is Super Bowl weekend, y'all. We have made it. Yet another NFL season is in the books, and it comes to a close this weekend. We will know who our Super Bowl champion is in a couple of days. So, great fucking weekend. Always love Super Bowl weekend. But before we get into that, we did have a lot going on in the NBA this week. So let's start it off with on Tuesday night. LeBron James, he finally passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar now as the all-time leading scorer in the NBA. He will obviously extend that lead to, because who knows when LeBron's gonna retire. I mean, the dude's probably got at least a couple more years in him. Definitely 1 year left. I don't think he's going to be retiring after this season. So he's definitely going to extend that lead, and he's going to make it pretty difficult for anybody to ever break that record, but even if they do, he's going to own it for a while. He is now officially the all-time leading scorer, and I mean, congratulations to him. It is an excellent achievement, especially in his stellar career. He has achieved a lot, but I will say, I absolutely hated that they just stopped the middle of the fucking game to have like a 15-minute procession after he broke the record. Like, that was fucking ridiculous and stupid. We're in the middle of a game. So, first of all, the Lakers lost this game, by the way, which was just absolutely stupid to the Oklahoma City Thunder, nonetheless. This is not that great of a team. We have way too much talent to be losing to this crap bag team. But we lost. Yeah, and it wasn't even like, it was close. It was a 3-point game. 3-point difference at the end, but it didn't really matter. I mean, the Lakers were losing for the majority of this game, and you could tell that they were just trying to get LeBron all the buckets he could, because you could tell they just wanted to get this record over and done with. And don't get me wrong, definitely deserves to be celebrated, but he broke the record in the third quarter with 10 seconds left to go on the clock, and they stopped it. They stopped the game right then and there in the third quarter with 10 fucking seconds left on the clock, and they literally start showing this little fucking video montage of LeBron's career. They have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar come out onto the court and take a picture with him. They have his family come out onto the court, and they're like throwing a fucking procession for him, and I'm sitting here like, there's a game going on right now? You mean to tell me that you couldn't at least end this 10 seconds of the third quarter, do it in between the third and fourth quarter? That might have made a little sense, but it should have actually waited until the end of the game. But the fact that we lost would have probably overshadowed the almighty LeBron and his fucking accomplishment, his individual accomplishment that doesn't do shit for this Lakers team, by the way. They still suck out loud, but I hated that they took 15 minutes of time in the middle of a game. Like, that was stupid. But that's also the epitome of LeBron, because that dude, he's one of the biggest narcissists on the fucking planet, and there's nothing he loves more than the red carpet being rolled out to him and everybody sucking his fucking dick and like, oh my God, LeBron, you're the greatest of all time. By the way, I take Michael Jordan over LeBron any day of the week, simply because I personally care about championships more than anything. The number one stat I care about in anybody's career. I am so consistent with this. I have been consistent with this my entire sports loving life. Championships matter more than any goddamn thing on this planet. And LeBron has just as many championship losses, 6, that Michael Jordan does in wins, 6-0. Now, not trying to hate on LeBron, because it's a great achievement, but I personally care way more about championships than any fucking thing on this goddamn planet. So, congratulations to you, dude, but you still ain't doing shit in the Lakers uniform, which pisses me the fuck off. Anyways, we did have a couple of trades at the trade deadline. Yesterday was the trade deadline. The Lakers actually did make a good trade. Thankfully, it wasn't for that stupid bum Kyrie Irving. We did finally get rid of Russell Westbrook. We traded Russell Westbrook to Utah in a 3-team trade between the Lakers, Utah, and Minnesota Timberwolves. Basically, the Lakers are going to be getting D'Angelo Russell from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Westbrook was sent to Utah, and it sounds like he's going to be bought out of his contract, and he's just going to be able to choose where he wants to sign to. But I'm happy that the Lakers picked up D'Angelo Russell. I think this is a good move. He's not like Chris Paul level type of point guard, but he was actually drafted by the Lakers, and then he eventually just was traded away by the Lakers. Just shit never worked out. But over the years, D'Angelo Russell's actually turned out to be a pretty good piece with every team that he's been with since the Lakers. So hopefully he continues that. He did have a good season with the Timberwolves prior to getting traded to the Lakers. So I think he's going to fit this system. I don't think this makes the Lakers a legit playoff contender. They may make the playoffs, but even so, that's going to be a stretch because the Lakers are still one of the worst teams out west. They are in the bottom 3 teams. Bottom 3, people. So I hear people, once this trade happened, like acting like the Lakers were just going to become this playoff caliber team. And I'm like, maybe the last seed if we're fucking lucky, but I don't even think that. But I do like the trade because it's, at least for a decent player, the Lakers didn't actually have to give up a lot, which was the most shocking aspect of this. But I do like the trade. I just don't think it's a significant help for this year, at least. And then the big trade actually happened going into Thursday, like morning-ish, Wednesday night, kind of like, around midnight-ish, around that time. Kevin Durant was traded to the Phoenix Suns. Now, there were rumblings, Kyrie was traded, and it sounded like there was going to be a good shot Durant was going to get traded somewhere, and he got traded to the Phoenix Suns. Now, Phoenix has been having their own issues the last about month, 2 months. Really, since Devin Booker went down, they've really had their struggles. Now Booker's back, and they do seem to be putting it together, and they have been one of the top teams out west the last couple of seasons. So their struggles, I kind of feel like, are mostly due to injury, but, coming into the season, I wasn't really high on the Phoenix Suns at all. But this Kevin Durant trade, I don't know if it makes him a championship contender just yet. I definitely think next year, for sure, if things stay as is, this is a damn good Phoenix Suns team. I definitely think they're going to be a force in the playoffs. They could definitely make the championship. I don't know if because we don't know how Kevin Durant's going to fit in. Obviously, you could just sit here and go, oh yeah, let's just throw Kevin Durant in the mix, and that's going to be great. Because hey, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, that all sounds good to me. And they got a good coach too. So to me, yeah, sounds great. But you just never know until you see what happens on the court. So this is definitely a big move for the Phoenix Suns. And definitely a good move for Kevin Durant as well. Because, his time with the Brooklyn Nets has just been absolutely atrocious. He gets traded away to Phoenix. And we'll see if what happens with Phoenix. But I definitely think it definitely improves their season. It gives them depth. They still have questions, though. Their bench is it's very weak. It's been an Achilles heel for them, but Booker's back. Booker with Durant, that could be something crazy. And then you got Chris Paul, just directing traffic there in the middle. So, and then you got Ayton right there, getting the rebounds, doing the dirty work in the middle. So this Phoenix Suns team, we'll see. Maybe they could be a Western Conference title team. Maybe they could make a championship run, but definitely a good, solid move for the Phoenix Suns. All right, so now let's turn over to the NFL since it is Super Bowl 57 weekend. But before we get into the Super Bowl breakdown, we did have some end-of-the-year awards handed out last night. So let's break that down. Also, Hall of Fame inductees were announced as well, so we'll get into all of that. Beginning with the MVP award, of course, went to Patrick Mahomes. The quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs just had a phenomenal fucking season. He's still looking to cap this season off with hopefully a Super Bowl win, which is still out there for him. Definitely going to be a close matchup this weekend, but he 100% deserved the MVP, and who knows, maybe he could get that Super Bowl MVP along with it. Then the Offensive Player of the Year went to the wide receiver of the Minnesota Vikings, Justin Jefferson. He absolutely had a phenomenal season, not only for a wide receiver, but definitely on offense. He was the main reason why the Vikings did what they did. I mean, he had huge catches. He had that one big catch in Buffalo to get them that win. But he was just probably one of the most reliable receivers in the league, and definitely deserved the Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year went to San Francisco 49ers defensive end Nick Bosa. He led the league in sacks, was very consistent all season long. So definitely deserving of him. Offensive Rookie of the Year went to, the New York Jets knocked it out of the park with 2 Rookie of the Years this year. They got Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year, both on the New York Jets. So hopefully that bodes well for their future. But Offensive Rookie of the Year went to their wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to their cornerback, Sauce Gardner. So maybe the Jets could be a decent team in the future just because, 2 good rookies right there building a solid foundation. We'll see what they're able to do. But the quarterback position, of course, is up in the air for them. So, hey, 2 good rookies right there. That's great. Then Coach of the Year went to the New York Giants coach, Brian Daboll, who had a fantastic season with not a lot to work with on the offensive side of the ball, but they made the playoffs. And then Comeback Player of the Year went to Seattle Seahawks quarterback Geno Smith. Definitely deserving. The guy has pretty much been a journeyman quarterback for the majority of his career. He was able to put together just a fantastic year this year. Statistically, one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Very efficient, didn't have a lot of turnovers, and had quite the resurgence. Also beat all of the teams that let him go in the past. So, that's a perfect Comeback Player of the Year, in my opinion. So those are the end of the year awards. Then the Hall of Fame inductees this year are Rondé Barber, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers cornerback, just one of the best cornerbacks of that time, so absolutely deserving. He won a Super Bowl as well. Then Darrelle Revis, the cornerback of the New York Jets. He was one of the most dominating cornerbacks, basically, of his era. It used to be called Revis Island, meaning if you were out there and Darrelle Revis was guarding you and you were a wide receiver, you were stuck on Revis Island, that usually meant you weren't getting any catches. So the guy was very consistent and just had a very solid career. Then speaking of consistent careers, Joe Thomas, he was the Cleveland Browns offensive lineman who pretty much never missed a game. I can't remember the exact number of how many snaps he played his entire career straight, but I think he only missed games his last season, and he had I believe a 10-year, 11-year career. So he was just one of the most consistent offensive linemen from an injury standpoint. He just was, for a Cleveland Browns player, he was fantastic. I mean, he would have been great on any team, but to be a standout guy and the whole league knows you on the Cleveland Browns when he was on the team that didn't win a game. And then the following season, they only won 1 game. So, he was on some of the worst teams of all time and still showed up every motherfucking game. So, Joe Thomas, 100% deserves to be in there. Then Zach Thomas, linebacker of the Miami Dolphins. This guy, I can't believe it took this long for Zach Thomas to finally get into the Hall of Fame, but it's well-deserved. Growing up, you knew who the fuck Zach Thomas was. He was always in the middle. He was always in your face, and he was just a spectacular linebacker, one of the best in his heyday. Then we also have 2 Dallas Cowboys going into the Hall of Fame this year, starting with one of my favorite players of all time, DeMarcus Ware, outside linebacker of the Dallas Cowboys. Also had a great career with the Denver Broncos as well, won a Super Bowl with the Broncos. Unfortunately, didn't win one of those with the Cowboys, but it didn't matter. One of the greatest Cowboys of all time for damn sure, and 100% happy he is getting into the Hall of Fame just because he was consistent his entire career. Beast mode right there. Loved DeMarcus Ware. So happy to see him going in. Then the other Dallas Cowboy, Chuck Howley, another great defender. He's actually the only player in Super Bowl history to win the Super Bowl MVP for the losing team. He won the MVP in Super Bowl V. So he was just a fantastic defender for the Dallas Cowboys. Then Coach Don Coryell was inducted. Joe Klecko and Ken Riley round out the Hall of Fame. So that is this year's Hall of Fame. They will all be inducted into the Hall of Fame in August. So now let's get to the Super Bowl 57 talk. All right. This is where what we've all been waiting for. 2 final teams and who is going to win it all. And we do have the top teams in the league, the 2 number 1 seeds. So these are the teams that should be here. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Both of them dominated the season coming into the Super Bowl. They really didn't have any, even their losses, they weren't like down and out. They would just come right back and get the win. So right now, Philadelphia is a 1.5 point favorite in this game. In my personal opinion, if you look at it from top to bottom, the Eagles are obviously the more talented team. Offensively, they got Jalen Hurts, he had an MVP season as well. He may not have won the MVP, but he was right there with Patrick Mahomes all season long, and he was a huge, integral part of this Eagles team. Then you've got A.J. Brown and Jalen Smith, Devontae Smith. They could easily both be number 1 receivers on any team that they were on, but they're both on this team. They're fantastic receivers. They're huge playmakers. Then you've got the 2 running backs. Then you've got this great offensive line for the Eagles. So offensively, they are stacked. Then you turn over to the defense, and the Eagles' defense has been one of the tops in the league. They've got a ton of sacks, they've got a ton of turnovers, but not only do they just get the turnovers, but they are getting points with those turnovers as well. Hassan Reddick has had just one of the greatest seasons a defender can have. I mean, really, Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons were obviously the big front runners for Defensive Player of the Year, but Hassan Reddick was right there. I mean, this guy had turnovers, he had sacks, he's been in on just about every play defensively for the Eagles. But then you take a look at the secondary, they are ball hawks. This defensive line, you've got Fletcher Cox on it. I mean, this Eagles team is stacked from top to bottom. And then you turn over to the Chiefs, and it's all about Patrick Mahomes. He just won the MVP. The guy has been on fire all season long. He's carried this team. But outside of Travis Kelce, they don't have a lot of reliable weapons. They have a lot of good guys who could step it up, make big plays when they need to, but none of them can really have that breakout moment. And then defensively, they're pretty good. I mean, they've got Chris Jones, who's been having a phenomenal season. They're really good at getting pressure on the quarterback. It's just their secondary tends to get blown out and give up the big plays in the end of towards the end of the games. So, looking at the rosters, the Eagles are just stacked. But I mean, this is the Super Bowl, and they are playing one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and that's Patrick Mahomes. In my opinion, I feel like this is going to be more of a defensive type of game. Usually, Super Bowls historically always start off slow. Usually, the first quarter is where they basically have to get their footing and figure out what the hell they're going to do here. So I actually don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I do think it's going to be a close battle. But I think where the edge is going to go to the Eagles' defense. The Eagles' defense, if they are just able to get Patrick Mahomes, and I know this is easier said than done, but if they are just able to get Patrick Mahomes into just a couple of mistakes and either force a turnover, not even just force a turnover, but force a turnover for points, or set the offense up in good field position to get them some points. Or I'll stall some drives and then force some punts for the Chiefs, and then just keep their defense out on the field. And eventually the Eagles are just going to take advantage of that and just start to pull away. So I do think this is going to be a defensive game. And I think this is going to be kind of similar to the Super Bowl between the Raiders and the Buccaneers, when the Raiders were like the number one offense in the league, the Buccaneers were the number one defense in the league, and the Buccaneers defense just came in, stomped them to the curb, and really got the big win. And I also kind of see it being like the Broncos Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl, where the Seattle Seahawks defense just absolutely dominated Peyton Manning, who was having probably one of his best seasons ever. And that says a lot, because Peyton Manning is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and that was a phenomenal season, and had just one of the shittiest games of his career, and the Seattle Seahawks defense just stomped him to the curb. I kind of feel like that's going to be similar to this game. I do think it's going to be a lot closer, especially that Broncos game. They got stomped. I don't think this is going to be that, but I feel like the Eagles defense is going to do just enough and force Patrick Mahomes into just enough mistakes to cost the Chiefs the win. And I have the Eagles walking away with the win, 24-21. Could be one of those walk-off wins, or just one of those wins where the Eagles are just slowly starting to pull away in the fourth quarter, and then they get the ball and are able to just down it and run clock out. Because they do have the best ground attack in the league. And so if anybody could take time off the clock, it's going to be them. You're going to have to do that. You cannot leave time on the clock for Patrick Mahomes if it's close at the end of the game. So they're going to really need to rely on their defense. And with that being said, I think the Super Bowl MVP is going to be Hassan Reddick. I think Hassan Reddick is going to be that dude. I think he's going to get a sack or two. I think he's going to be in on just about every single play. I think he's going to be the guy who either causes the turnover or picks up the turnover and runs it back for a touchdown, something like that. I feel like Hassan Reddick's going to have the big game, and I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning Super Bowl 57, 24-21. Pains me to say it, but I just kind of feel like they're the better team, and they're going to walk away with the win. We do have quite a few storylines, though, outside of just the game. You know, we have the Kelsey brothers. This is going to be the first time that two brothers on opposing teams will be playing against each other. You have Travis Kelce, the tight end of the Kansas City Chiefs, and then you have Jason Kelce, the center of the Philadelphia Eagles. Both of them actually already had one Super Bowl apiece, so this kind of gives the other one bragging rights, not only in the win, but also I have more Super Bowls than you. So that's a pretty cool storyline, just because also too, it's not like either one of them is a backup, but one of them's good, the other one's just okay. No, they're both like Jason Kelce, one of the best centers in the league, Travis Kelce, one of the best tight ends in the league. Both of them could actually go into the Hall of Fame. So it's a big deal that this is happening, especially with all the family members that have played against each other in the league. I mean, there's so many brothers who have played in the league and played on separate teams, but never in the Super Bowl against each other. So that's one of the storylines. Then you also have Andy Reid, who used to coach the Philadelphia Eagles. Then they fired him, and then he was picked up by the Chiefs, and here he is. I mean, he had a lot of success with the Eagles. He didn't ever win a Super Bowl with them, but he took them to the Super Bowl. He took them to plenty of NFC Championship games, and so it's going to be that's a storyline where Andy Reid's going up against his old team. Also, this is the first time in NFL history that we have two black starting quarterbacks with Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. So that's a big deal, just because it's nice that we could finally kind of put that narrative away now that we've achieved the last kind of like notch in that the black guy can't play quarterback thing. It's kind of now squashed at this point. Now that we have two of them in the Super Bowl, it's nice that it went from black guys were too fucking stupid to be quarterback to now we have an MVP of the league being Patrick Mahomes, a black quarterback, and now we have 2 black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. One of them's walking away with the win, and both of them had phenomenal seasons. So we'll see who gets the win in the Super Bowl, but it's nice that we've pretty much put that to rest, that stupid myth that black quarterbacks, it was that they can't play, they're not smart enough, whatever the dumbass narratives were. It's nice we can now just set that to the side, and now we don't really have to talk about this anymore. And then, of course, the best part of the Super Bowl this year is going to be the halftime show, because we've got Rihanna performing the halftime show, which is going to be fucking awesome. I'm a huge Rihanna fan. I've seen her live. I saw her at the Anti-World Tour. That was a fucking fantastic show. So looking forward to it. Unfortunately, since it's a halftime show, there's going to be censorship and all that crap, and I've always hated that. So that's going to be the only aspect of it I hate, because she has some, risque songs, if you will, but I don't care. She's got great hits. She's got great music, and I'm absolutely looking forward to the halftime show. As a matter of fact, I'm looking forward to it as much as I am the game, because I couldn't care less about either teams in this game. And with that being said, who am I rooting for in this game? Because usually, you got to be rooting for somebody. If you're a sports fan and you're watching a championship game, you usually are rooting for somebody. For me, this is going to be one of those Super Bowls where, because I don't like the Chiefs and I don't like the Eagles. The Eagles are my least favorite team in the league. I'm a Cowboys fan, so Eagles are just gross, disgusting, and stupid, and I just fucking hate the Eagles. I hate that they're here. I hate that they've been one of the top teams in the league. But here they are, and got to give them their props, but I just don't know if I have it in me to root for them. But then I turn over to the Kansas City Chiefs, and I absolutely hate Andy Reid. Now, I know I'm like in the minority in this camp, because for some reason Andy Reid gets this reputation as being such a great guy. Now, he is a great coach. Not even talking about that, but what I am talking about is he is not a great guy, and here's the evidence of that. He's a horrible fucking father. Andy Reid had 2 sons, and first, when he's in Philadelphia, his 2 sons, they go to a nice school, a nice little affluent school, and these kids, they're Andy Reid's kids, so they're the cool kids, and it wasn't cool enough being Andy Reid's sons. They had to be drug dealers as well, and so they started dealing drugs, and not like weed, like heroin and meth and shit like that. And so they both eventually got arrested. They were then released on house arrest. In the stipulations of them being released is that they had to live with Andy Reid and his horrible wife, because she's also at fault for these 2 shitty children as well, and this how they were horribly raised and how they horribly turned out. But so they were living in their house, and they were at this same time, after they were released from prison, they were selling drugs out of their house. Yeah, out of their house. So they're just as bad. If you think that the Columbine parents are awful because they didn't know their kids had like an arsenal of guns they were collecting, and then they went and shot up children at a school, if you think those parents are bad, you should also think Andy Reid and his wife are horrible fucking parents, because they are. So then, after they're selling drugs out of their house, that they're living under the same roof with Andy Reid and his wife, because Andy Reid, he's such a great father that he doesn't give a shit. He's too busy coaching a football team, which, hey, good on you. You are a great coach, but you're a horrible fucking father. You should have never been a goddamn father if you didn't want to actually be a father. So he thinks a great idea is, oh my God, let me bring my son, one of my sons, to training camp with me. I don't know what he's going to learn. I mean, I've never disciplined him in my life. He's gone to prison. He's just a big fucking drug addicted loser. But let me bring him to training camp with me. And what happens at training camp with one of his kids? Oh, that's right. He fucking dies of a drug overdose at training camp. And so, it was a big deal. Andy Reid had to take like a week off, and everybody's like, oh, poor Andy Reid. His kid overdoses at training camp. Why are we feeling sorry for the dude who caused all of this? So then after that, his other kid's still alive. And Andy Reid becomes the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. And a couple years ago, he puts his son. He makes his son a coach, nepotism baby, and he becomes a coach on the Kansas City Chiefs. And then a couple years ago, when the Kansas City Chiefs lost the Super Bowl to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, during the bye week, the in-between week of before the Super Bowl, his other son gets wasted and gets behind the wheel. He's drugged up, I believe, on Adderall and was drunk as well. And he's driving behind the wheel of a car, and he hits some people on the side of the road who are helping people change a fucking tire. And he maims a little girl who ends up being in a coma and in a hospital for a few months. And she's maimed for life and has debilitating life injuries that she's going to have to suffer with and deal with forever. And he was convicted of this, and I believe he's currently behind bars. If he hasn't been sentenced yet, he should be sentenced here pretty soon. But those are Andy Reid's children. And anybody who sits here and wants to say Andy Reid is a good guy is a fucking idiot, because those children were raised by this idiot who cared way more about being an NFL coach, which he's good at, but he's awful at being a father. And the proof is in the pudding. I can excuse you having the one like black sheep where they're the drug addict and they've got the 900 baby daddies and whatever, their life's in shambles. But then you got the other kid who's pretty decent. No, these were just nepotism kids who just they had money thrown at them. They were little affluent motherfuckers who were selling drugs in their parents' own fucking home. All of this you can look up too, by the way. It's just nobody really talks about it because for some reason Andy Reid gets this elevation of being a fucking good guy, and he's not. And so I fucking hate Andy Reid, and I can't stand watching that dude win. So I don't know who I'm rooting for in this game. I know that was a long way to get to that, but it bothers me that nobody ever talks about that with Andy Reid. And real talk, if Andy Reid was a black guy and a black guy had kids doing that same shit, you damn right the media would be fucking talking about it and saying, oh, what a bad father. What a bad father. The black guy's a bad father. They fucking would. But because Andy Reid's fat and jolly, all of a sudden he's the nicest guy ever. Nah. He is a great coach. Not taking that away from him. But he was a horrible father, which makes him a horrible fucking person in my book. And you can look all of that up that I just said. It's all out there. Been out there for fucking years. So I don't know who I'm rooting for in this one. When I'm in this position where I can't stand either team, because this has happened to me on numerous occasions during the Super Bowl, where I either am just like, I don't care about either team, or I hate both teams. And in this case, I hate both teams. It's really difficult for me to decide who I'm rooting for. So it's going to be one of those where like it's an in the moment type of thing, where like if the Eagles are like kicking the Chiefs' ass, I'm probably going to be like laughing the whole way through, like, ha ha ha, look at Andy Reid's fat ass losing, go eat a cheeseburger, fatso. Or if I see just Patrick Mahomes like just having this electric day and just having a great game, and he's just really tearing apart the Eagles, that's probably going to make me laugh as well. So it's going to be one of those in the moment type of things where I'm just going to be enjoying the football, not really necessarily rooting for anybody right now, but maybe the day of the Super Bowl. That's usually what happens to me, is I'm like, all right, I'm feeling like I want to root for Patrick Mahomes today, or I'm feeling like I want to root for Jalen Hurts today, or whatever. I don't know. Can't stand either team. So, don't really give a shit, but I'm just hoping for a good game. That's all I'm hoping for. And then, so let's get to today's Tropp 5 list. I actually did this last year, and I'm doing it again this year because we do have five people that I was able to put on this list. And I'm going to do the Trop 5 Super Bowl hotties. Did it last year. We had 5 fine-ass motherfuckers I was able to put on there. So I also have 5 fine-ass motherfuckers to put on from this year's Super Bowl. Because I'm a shallow-ass bitch, and I have no issues with that aspect of my personality. Yeah. So if you got a problem with it, go fuck yourself. Don't care if you have a problem. And I'm ranking people. Yeah, I know. How awful of me. I'm ranking people by their looks. And looks alone, bitches. So let's start with the Trop 5 Super Bowl hotties of Super Bowl 57. Starting with number 5. Juju Smith-Schuster, the wide receiver of the Kansas City Chiefs. I just think he's just a good-looking guy. Great body, of course, because, he is a football player. Most of them do look fantastic without shirts on. But Juju does for sure. He's just a good-looking guy, so I put him on the list there. Then at number 4 on my Trop 5 Super Bowl hotties, I have the wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles, A.J. Brown. Just yet another good-looking guy. He has a fantastic smile, but let me tell you what is more fantastic about this guy. Fine-ass body. Whoo! Those abs. I'm an abs girl, by the way. Love abs. And that guy looks fine as hell without a shirt. So A.J. Brown, number 4 on my Trop 5 Super Bowl hotties. Then at number 3 on my Trop 5 Super Bowl hotties, I have quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts. He's got great facial structure. He's just hot. There's just something about him. He's confident as hell. I like the way he talks, where he just kind of talks like in that low voice. He don't give a fuck. I'm just Jalen Hurts, and I'm fine as hell. I got this. I got my 90s earring, the one earring in the ear. Yeah, because I'm throwing it back to the 90s days. Just being hot ass Jalen Hurts. So he's number 3 on my Trop 5 Super Bowl hotties. Then at number 2 on my Trop 5 Super Bowl hotties, fine ass motherfucking tight end from Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce. Hot. Travis Kelce is fine as fucking hell. He even had one of those little dating shows. I think he was on The Bachelor or had some random one by himself. Don't know, don't care. He's just fine as hell, and he had to be on the list. But he was actually originally number 1 until I was really going through the list, and I was like, wait a second. I know who I'm going to put at number 1. This is easy. This is fucking easy. Now, number 1 on my Trop 5 Super Bowl hotties of Super Bowl 57 isn't even playing in the game. But I started laughing so hard because I'm like, man, I was trying to figure out, I had 4. And I'm like, man, who else? And I'm looking at the rosters and I'm like, wait a second. This is so fucking obvious. Number 1 is Rihanna. Hello, Rihanna is the number 1 Trop 5 Super Bowl hottie. She ain't even playing in the game, but I started laughing when it dawned on me. I'm like, wait a second. Number 1 is obviously Rihanna. Rihanna's just hot. Rihanna's got great music and got to put on a great, fantastic show. And when I thought of it, I was like, oh yeah. That's easy. It was going to be, at first I thought, Travis Kelce, easy, number 1. Wait. Even Travis Kelce agrees with me. Rihanna is the Trop 5 Super Bowl hottie for damn sure. So that's my Trop 5 Super Bowl hotties. Juju Smith-Schuster, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Travis Kelce, and Rihanna, all fucking fine as hell. And all should put on a great performance on Super Bowl Sunday. And also, going to round out today's show, Tom Brady retired last week for good this time. And last year, after he retired the first time, I actually ranked all of his Super Bowls, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to have to do it again. Now, I didn't re-rank them. I'm just going to reread and go over my how I ranked all 10 of his Super Bowls. Because for one, he's the GOAT, greatest of all time. Also, you may have just now started tuning into the show just recently and you didn't hear how I ranked all of Tom Brady's Super Bowls, so this could be new to you. But he was the greatest of all time and definitely the greatest of this era. And to go to 10 Super Bowls and win 7 of them says a fucking lot. And it's crazy that I have 10 Super Bowls that I could just rank and be like, what the fuck, for one freaking player. And a dude who was a 6th-round pick, who should not have ever been this player, but worked so goddamn hard that he is. So yeah, here are all of Tom Brady's Super Bowls ranked, beginning with number 10. I put Super Bowl 52. This was the one where they lost to the he was with the New England Patriots, of course, when they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles 41-33. I really feel like out of all the Super Bowls that Tom Brady's played now, he did pass for a Super Bowl record of 505 passing yards. He did have a fantastic game overall. But out of all the Super Bowls that Tom Brady's played in, this was the one that they didn't really have a shot in. The Eagles basically had the lead from the jump. They really never gave it up. It felt like every time the Patriots were climbing back into it, the Eagles would just keep it moving, and they really just obliterated them in this game. And even the great Tom Brady couldn't bring them back and get them this win. So to me, that is obviously his probably his worst Super Bowl, if you will, of the 10 Super Bowls that he went to. Then at number 9 on Tom Brady's ranked Super Bowls, Super Bowl 46. This is the second one against the New York Giants, New England Patriots versus the New York Giants, when the Patriots lost 21-17. This was just yet another defensive domination by the New York Giants. This also had a big catch. This time around from Mario Manningham. Eli Manning just kept his cool, and the Giants defense really, the Patriots' first drive started out with the Tom Brady safety, where he drops back into the end zone and just tosses a bomb to nobody, and they call it a safety because it was intentional grounding, and which is a safety if you're in the end zone, and that's how that Super Bowl started off. So when that shit happens, it just goes downhill from there. Even though it was a close matchup, it still was not really that great of a game from the Patriots. Then the 8th-ranked Tom Brady Super Bowl is Super Bowl 42. This was when the New England Patriots lost to the New York Giants 17-14. This was the undefeated season. And, I mean, really, this was just defensive domination yet again from the Giants. They didn't really need a lot offensively. They just needed the big helmet catch, and they just needed to get into scoring position. And then, of course, Plaxico Burress had the walk-off touchdown. And the New York Giants stopped the dreaded undefeated season from the New England Patriots. Now, the rest of the Super Bowls are all of the Super Bowls that Tom Brady won. So now that we got the losses out of the way, those, of course, were at the end of the rankings on the Super Bowl. So the number 7 Tom Brady Super Bowl is Super Bowl 53. New England Patriots versus the Los Angeles Rams. This is the one where the Patriots won 13-3. It was a very defensive game between both teams. But Tom Brady, he ended up winning the MVP because he brought New England down the field on a game-winning drive in the third quarter, threw to Rob Gronkowski to set them up into scoring position, and they would score the one and only touchdown of the game, and that would get Tom Brady one of his, 5 MVPs he's won, Super Bowl MVPs he's won, so that's one of 5. Then the 6th-ranked Tom Brady Super Bowl is Super Bowl 39. This was against the New England Patriots Philadelphia Eagles matchup the first time around when the Patriots beat the Eagles 24-21. In my personal opinion, this is the best overall New England Patriots team of that first dynasty, because if that Patriots dynasty overall was one dynasty, but it was kind of split up into 2 separate dynasties. This was basically the first of the 2 dynasties. They had Teddy Bruschi, they had Willie McGinnis, they had Tom Brady. They just had a really stacked defense, but just overall they were stacked from top to bottom, and they were really a complete team. And they really gave it to this Philadelphia Eagles team, because Donovan McNabb, he was having a great season, and then he pretty much was just sucking wind this entire game. And because of that, the Patriots really won this game. But this was the only one of the Super Bowls that Tom Brady won that he did not get the Super Bowl MVP. That one went to Deion Branch because he made the big plays for the majority of that game. Then the fifth-ranked Tom Brady Super Bowl is Super Bowl 36 when they beat the St. Louis Rams 20-17. This was his first Super Bowl, not only his first Super Bowl win, but his very first Super Bowl. He had the game-winning drive with 1:30 left on the clock, no timeouts as well, and he was able to set his team up in field goal position, and Adam Vinatieri would hit the 48-yard game-winning field goal, and the Patriots would go on to win that Super Bowl 20-17, and Tom Brady would win his first Super Bowl MVP as well in that one. So that's 2 of his 5 Super Bowl MVPs. Then the fourth-ranked Tom Brady Super Bowl, Super Bowl 38. This was the New England Patriots versus the Carolina Panthers. This was a crazy game. The Patriots would end up winning 32-29, but it was back and forth, especially in the second half. I mean, it started off kind of slow, but then boom, 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 boom. It was like score, score, score. You know, the Panthers, it looked like they were going to win. And then all of a sudden, they get the ball back to the New England Patriots, and their first mistake was they would kick the kickoff out of bounds, which would set the Patriots up in great field position with 1:08 left on the clock, and Tom Brady would once again drive them down the field, set them up in field goal position. Adam Vinatieri walks it off with another game-winning field goal, 41-yard field goal, and Tom Brady would win yet another Super Bowl MVP. That is number 3 of the 5 he won. And then number 3 on my Tom Brady Super Bowls ranked, Super Bowl 49 against the New England Patriots against the Seattle Seahawks. This was another crazy game. The New England Patriots would win 28-24. This was it was a back and forth affair, and this was, of course, the Seattle Seahawks drive the ball all the way down the field. It looks like they're going to just win this one because they're at the goal line. All you got to do is hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch, right? Nope. Instead, Russell Wilson drops back the pass and throws an interception, and Malcolm Butler basically has the play of his career because where is Malcolm Butler now? Who the fuck knows? But he gets the walk-off interception, and Tom Brady would win yet another MVP. One of my favorite moments, though, this is just by far one of my favorite Super Bowl moments just in general, is when Malcolm Butler gets this interception because it was insane. I cannot believe this is the way a Super Bowl ended. It was crazy because there's no way that the Seattle Seahawks had this all in the bag. And nope, interception. And when it happens, they do a sideline shot, and you just see Tom Brady jumping up and down like a little kid, like, oh my God, screaming like a little girl. And it's just so much fun to watch. And to me, that's just like the epitome of football. And it's just a great image. And it's just also cool because at this point in his career, he had already won 3. He definitely had won 3 Super Bowls for sure. I think that was the first one after they lost the 2 against the Giants. So this was just another one to get them back on track. But I mean, Tom Brady had already had success throughout his career. So to see somebody react like that to a big play like that, and it's not even you, but hey, it's a game-winning play. Great end to a Super Bowl. And I had to put it number 3 on there. Now, the second-ranked Tom Brady Super Bowl is Super Bowl 55. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. The reason why I put this at number 2, because it was straight-up Tom Brady domination. Now, don't get me wrong. Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense held this shit down. They had Patrick Mahomes running for his motherfucking life. The Buccaneers would get the win 31-9. But Tom Brady had just an excellent day. He, of course, won yet another Super Bowl MVP in this one. He went 21 for 29, 201 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But it was just such a dominating performance. This was the first time, he was without Bill Belichick. He was not on the Patriots anymore. This Buccaneers team really kind of backed their way into the playoffs, but they were able to put together a great second half run, a great playoff run. They beat some damn good teams along the way in the playoffs, including a really damn good Green Bay Packers team in Green Bay. They would just cap it off with this big Super Bowl win against the Kansas City Chiefs, dominating fashion. But I mean, from Tom Brady, this was On offense, it was all about Brady. Like, he was just on some in this game, and you could tell he just really, really fucking wanted this win, and he really got that win. And so that was obviously his last Super Bowl he won. But the number one overall ranked Tom Brady Super Bowl, of course, has to be Super Bowl 51. I refer to this as the game I stopped hating Tom Brady, because I used to hate Tom Brady. You know, you got that fan hate. It gets annoying seeing the same people win over and over again, but at the end of the day, I am a football fan, and I respect game, and I kind of feel like if I'm watching something in the moment, I should be enjoying something in the moment. And so after what happened in Super Bowl 51, I said to myself, I can't hate this dude anymore. And the reason why is because this was Super Bowl 51, New England Patriots versus the Atlanta Falcons. The Patriots were down 28-3. Going into the third quarter, I mean, this first half was just follies from the New England Patriots. Not just the Patriots, but Tom Brady himself. He throws this one interception before halftime, and it gets run back for a touchdown, and he's just lying on the ground with his feet out in front of him, puts his head down, and it's like, whoa, this is happening to Tom Brady. But you see the dude on the sideline, and he just keeps walking up and down the sideline to all his offensive players, every player actually. Just one play, guys, just one play. We just got to score one play. We just got to keep going. One play at a time, guys. We're in this. We're still in this. They're down 28-3 going into the third fucking quarter. 28-3. And this Falcons team was damn fucking good. But guess what? Tom Brady was right. They just kept chipping away. The defense was making big plays against this Atlanta Falcons team. And then the offense would get it back and just make big plays and get the scores when they needed to. Rob Gronkowski's making the big plays when he needs to. Tom Brady's making the big plays when he needs to. This defense making the big plays. And they just start coming back. And then Julian Edelman makes just a spectacular grab where he's just bobbling it. It looks like it's about to hit the ground. Nope, he gets his hands right under it before it hits the ground, makes a big play. Patriots tie the game up. This is the only Super Bowl to go into overtime. And the Patriots would drive down the field in overtime and score the touchdown and get the win 34-28. They're down 28-3 going into the third quarter, and the Falcons would never score another touchdown again in this game. I mean, the Falcons just needed to score another fucking field goal. And there's this one play that the Patriots defense just makes against Matt Ryan, and you know they're in field goal range, and then the Patriots defense just keeps making play after play and just keeps backing the Falcons up, and knocks them out of field goal range. And they're not even able to just get the points, because if the Falcons just get one field goal, they probably would have walked away from this win, but they didn't. And it was all because you look at Tom Brady on the sideline, and he's doing it. He's walking up to every dude on the sideline. One play at a time, guys. One play at a time, guys. This is our game. Fuck them all, because that was their slogan of that season. FEA, fuck them all. And that's what they did. They fucked them all to death in that Super Bowl. And it was crazy. And like I said, that is the moment I stopped hating Tom Brady and started respecting Tom Brady. And I'm really glad I did, because what a career. We're never going to see another player like Tom Brady. You know, even when you look at dudes like Patrick Mahomes, you never know how a career is going to go. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes' career is going fantastic right now. And if you're to look at any dude in the league who could possibly maybe have hopes of catching anything that Tom Brady did, it could be Mahomes. But at the same time, he could suffer a debilitating injury at some point in his career, and that knocks him out. Or Andy Reid. Andy Reid's old. Dude could retire any one of these seasons. If the Chiefs win the Super Bowl this weekend, who knows? Andy Reid might hang him up, and then it's like, then what? You don't know what's going to happen. So you can't just sit here and write things, and that's why I like to see things play out. It's kind of why I really like, even though there are players I root against and players I don't really care much for, I've really changed my aspect and really like to enjoy what they're doing. And so even though I'm not rooting for any team this weekend in the Super Bowl, if Patrick Mahomes has some type of like insane record-breaking game, I'm going to be like, damn, I got to watch that game. Or if you just see the Eagles have this crazy dominating, awesome game and some big play happens from somebody, I'm going to be happy that I saw that. And that's just kind of what happened when I watched Super Bowl 51. I remember when the Patriots walked off the field, because, one of my friends, Megan, she's one of my best friends, and we've been friends for 15 years. Ever since I moved to Austin, Texas, she's one of the first friends I made here. And our main commonality is we love football. She's a huge Patriots fan, and I remember we were texting each other during this Super Bowl specifically. And the Patriots are down at halftime, and she's like, God, this sucks. What the hell are they going to do? And I remember telling her, I'm like, yo, if anybody can come back from this game, it's Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. I'm like, let's just see what happens. If they're just able to take it one play at a time, I don't know. You can't count the Patriots out. And every time they keep coming back, she's like, holy shit, you're right. Holy shit, you're right. And I was right, because it's like, dude, that was Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in their prime too. But I remember when I watched that and they walked off the field with that win, and they were down 28-3, and you're just watching greatness unfold in front of you like that. I'm like, I can't hate this dude anymore. And so ever since then, I really enjoyed the fuck out of Tom Brady's career. It is about time he left, 23 years. It's time to pass the torch on to the rest of these guys. I mean, the NFL is in spectacular hands with all the quarterbacks we have currently playing, and then the future generations we have coming up. Who knows what we've got in the future, but Tom Brady is definitely something for everybody to reach for. Not just as football players, but just kind of the mentality he had, because that's what I look at. When I look at what he did in football, I like to kind of take some of those things, his mentality, and apply that to my life and certain life aspects and just things I like to do, and say, hey, this is how Tom Brady would tackle it. And when you listen to some of the ways he breaks down games and just his mentality on certain things, it could definitely be uplifting and is definitely a good model for anybody, not just football players, but also if you want to run a business, if you have just any type of real legitimate goals. Tom Brady's a damn good dude to be looking up to, because he's just straight up hard work. Never played the victim. Never let people talk him down. Hell, even when the league was against him and suspended him for 4 games for Deflategate, which is a proven false fallacy, made up bullshit. I mean, literally, that was one of the biggest witch hunts ever against one of the greatest football players of all time. He was suspended over straight up bullshit. And that's also confirmed too. You could go look that shit up. Deflategate, not real. Total fucking witch hunt. Not even 1 PSI in 1 ball was what they found in good old Deflategate. That was just Jim Irsay's drugged up motherfucking ass, owner of the Colts, upset that his fucking team got their ass beat yet again by the New England Patriots in the playoffs, and they thought, we have to make up a reason why we lost. And yeah, it turns out it was a whole fucking fraudulent farce. Stupid bullshit. Whole league against him. He got suspended for that bullshit. And that was this season too, by the way. Super Bowl 51. That was that season too. So, fuck them all was the best fucking quote from that season. Perfect mantra right there. And just a great career from Tom Brady. And it looks like we're going to be seeing him doing commentary in Super Bowl. He will still be at Super Bowls to come, not just in, because he's always going to get brought up in the Super Bowl. Always. Every single year the Super Bowl rolls around and they start talking about records and blah, blah, blah. Tom Brady's name's coming up every single Sunday, but he did sign a deal with Fox to be an announcer. He's not going to start until next season, not the 2023 season, but the 2024 season. So he's still going to be in the Super Bowl. So if we thought we were getting rid of Tom Brady in Super Bowls, nah. The dude's still going to be, every 3 years they rotate through every network who gets the Super Bowl. So every 3 years when he's with Fox, we're still going to be seeing Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. And I mean, that's only fitting because the dude went to 10. They might want to consider changing the Lombardi trophy to the Tom Brady trophy, or maybe the Super Bowl MVP trophy to the Tom Brady trophy, because I don't think we should be renaming the Lombardi trophy because, Vince Lombardi, that's a legend right there. And even though Tom Brady's a legend, I don't know if we want to scrub Lombardi's name off of shit, but maybe we should rename the Super Bowl MVP the Tom Brady Super Bowl MVP trophy, because the dude was a GOAT, and the dude is always going to be synonymous with Super Bowls. And if there's anything you're known for at the end of your career, it's winning Super Bowls. That's number one. As I said, as I started this show off, nothing matters more than championships, and no one won more championships than the great Tom Brady. So those are the Super Bowls ranked. All 10 of Tom Brady's Super Bowls ranked, in my opinion. So enjoy Super Bowl 57, everybody. It is the end of the football season. We'll see what we're in store for. I am hoping for just a fantastic game from both great teams. And I will talk to you fools on Monday.